Hello, everyone. Yes, we are live. It is 7 p.m. and I am so excited to be doing this live. It is a very special live today, so I'm going to get ready to invite our guest today, Carolina. I'm just letting her connect so we can start. Hi, Caro. How are you?
Hey, Laura, good in you?
I'm good. I'm excited. Thank you for being my first guest.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. So, I wanted to just welcome everyone. This is first of many. I am introducing a Paint to Inspire series, where I'm going to be bringing different women from our community that are making an impact and other boss babes. In their nonprofit, small business owners, if you're making a difference, you're a boss babe, I want you here. As a small business owner, women owned and minority owned, it is very important that we support each other. I'm all about community, connecting, and celebrating each other, right? And I am thrilled to have you here today. And I kind of just want them to introduce you. And then I'm going to be asking you about yourself so we can learn a little bit more about you and what you do and how you're making an impact in our community. So, Carolina Builes is from Vesta Group and also from Home Financing Experts. Carolina, thank you for being my first guest. And I can't wait to learn more about your journey and how you're here today. So tell us about um, your journey. Who is Carolina? What do you do beside, being a small business owner? Who is Carolina?
So, I'm first generation born here from immigrant parents of Colombia. I'm a mom, a wife, daughter, sister. I have a pretty big family. I been born and raised in Inglewood, so I kind of stayed close to home. And I am a mortgage broker. And as you said, I funded Vesta Group, which is basically a company that shows the people who are just getting here how the financial world works here in the United States to be able to get to the end game of becoming homeowners.
Yes, and I see that you do a lot of educational series and you're really invested in helping the Latino community become homeowners.
Mhm.
So that's a great way to make an impact. Um, and I love that you stayed in Inglewood and that's where your office is, right?
Yes,
You went
yes.
back to the community, kind of where you go back to your
Yeah.
roots, right? So Caro and I, we met in high school.
Yes,
We
we've known
both
each
went
other for a
to
long time.
for a very long time from high school. Um, she was an upperclassman, right? 2 years difference. But we've been friends and followed each other and supported each other in all this entrepreneurial journey, right? And in your industry, did you face any challenges as a woman?
Yes.
Maybe you can name one challenge.
I mean, this industry, I think, still is very archived. I mean, it's still run by the majority men. Big companies are run by men. So it was difficult to come out of the operations side where I started to become a salesperson and then a branch manager and where I'm at now, which is a mortgage broker. I mean, I scaled pretty quickly. It didn't take me as long as it takes a lot of people, but because I had angels in my path, right? That decided to give me the opportunity because they believed in me and they liked what I was doing within the community. So that gave me the push I needed to be able to get to where I'm at now in just a couple of years.
That's beautiful. I like that you use the word angels. I always call like I always say like your wolf pack or your crew
Yeah.
or your cheerleaders, right? Because I know we use this term solopreneurs, right?
Hmm.
Everybody, you're kind of the
Yeah.
one that wears many hats. But I think it's beautiful to like kind of see those people that have helped
Mm.
us because we wouldn't be here if it was just
I
for
mean,
us,
yeah,
right?
so
Yes,
it's like a double-sided sword or knife, right? Because it is hard to get where you're at, but if you look back, it's never really a lonely ride, right? There's always somebody that either through encouragement, financially or educationally that helped you get to where you're at. Some people fail to acknowledge those people or even notice them, right? Because it's very it happens very sporadically, like unless it's somebody who's actually putting you in the position, you don't notice the person who gave you those words of encouragement when you were like about to quit, right?
yeah,
And going back to what you said about, as a female in this industry, it's very hard because a lot of people don't even take you seriously, right?
yeah,
Most of the times the trait is, okay, you just look pretty and you talk nice and that's why you get business. And it's not like that at
no,
all.
no,
You have to work very hard. And especially the market that I cater to, which is my Latin community, it's even harder because we come from a school of, we don't use banks, back
yes,
home they buy houses cash. So getting them used to the way that the financial system works here and educating them is a long path, and it's not easy. It's not just about looking pretty and dressing cute.
yeah, and I can see that because usually from a Latino community, the man is kind of that knows all the finances, and not just the Latino community, in
In
many
many
communities.
communities, many cultures, the male figure is the one that carries the finances in the house in general. So that trickles down,
Yeah,
So
into
it's hard to
it.
get respect
It is.
in in
I
this
see it,
position.
and
Yeah.
especially when you're going up the ladder and you're going for a more leadership role. As women, we kind of have to maybe work twice as hard and kind of prove ourselves a little more.
Hmm.
Then yes, I'm more than just my looks,
Hmm.
and especially when you're going into an industry and you're young, um, you want to be perceived as professional, right? Not,
Hmm.
oh, she's getting all of that because of her looks.
Hmm.
So as another woman to woman, I
Yeah.
understand that. Um, and you also have to kind of be very mindful of how you come across because you want to be nice, but you don't want to come off the wrong way because then they might take it the
Yeah.
wrong way. So I understand. But I love that, that you're stepping into this industry that's very male dominated, right? And you're kind of switching it up, and especially for our community. So with Vesta Group, how do you support our local community? You mentioned you help them. Walk me through someone that's looking, what would be your ideal person? How can you help someone? What are
So
they looking for?
basically, through Vesta Group, we do the whole educational aspect of it. We do seminars and we teach people, right, how to establish credit. So let's say, somebody wants to buy a house, right, but they don't have any credit. Or I work a lot with people who are subcontractors or make 1099s or cash. My entertainment people, my bartenders, my DJs, that they make cash most of the time, waiters. So educating them on like how to, how their taxes should be done, the history that they have to present in order to be able to buy a house and look financially fit on paper to the banks. So there's really not one particular profile that I work with. It's in general, but through Vesta Group, any questions that they have, how to, that's where we teach them, right? And it's
Hmm.
at no cost, right? Or if there's a cost, it's very minimal, and it's basically for filing stuff. Like, for example, they'll come and I have partners that will do taxes at a lower rate than normal
Hmm.
and the right way in order for the client to look good on paper. I have people that know how to establish credit that I partnered with, and they'll teach you and tell you, listen, do it this way. This is the card you could apply for. Manage it this way, in order for your credit score to be where it has to be. for you to get the house in the 3 months or 6 months you want. We
Okay, so
do
you
budget
you could be
planning.
working with a family for a span of 6 months, maybe up to a year. I know you
Hmm.
have clients that you kind of you you know, I've seen Carolina work, and I've heard her talking to her clients, and she really fights for them. Like, she's really invested into, like, we're gonna get you into this house, and we're gonna make you look good and do all the right things so that you
Hmm.
can get this house. But what I love about her, she's very honest, and she will get you into a house where, your finances are good for that house,
Hmm.
not try to get you into a house that's, you might
Above
be a little
your means.
above, or yeah, a little tight, or
Yeah.
you might end up in some trouble
Trouble.
for it. So
Yeah.
I um now you have this education portion, and you really are um this is part of why you do things. But why did you create Vesta Group? What in the community, what did you see missing? Was there a particular situation that happened to you? Was it something that happened to your family that made you think of Vesta Group? Why did you create it?
So, I started in the mortgage industry about 15 years ago, and I started on the back end side, right? I was an assistant. I went up to being, a loan opener, a loan processor, a junior processor, senior processor. So I saw that most of the files that would come in for approval were lacking certain structure in order to get approved for the bank, right?
Mhm.
So we were always running into issues and having to like restructure and fix the way the papers were presented in order to get approvals, right?
Mhm.
So as I grew within the company, I got capped, right? I wouldn't make more money than what I was making because of the position I was in, and they weren't offering any other positions, and that's how I got imposed to becoming a loan officer. So when I became a loan officer, since
Mhm.
I already knew the back end, I figured there needs to be some type of way I could service prior to getting or wanting the house, because it some people aren't ready right away.
Yes.
So I established the company as a multi-service to educate people on what's needed to buy a house. And that's how it all started. I mean, I just saw the need to educate my community because everything was in English.
Mhm.
The disclosures were in English and the people didn't know what they were signing. So instead of somebody sitting down and explaining the whole process, people, Latinos, were buying houses and they didn't know what they were doing. Like they
Yes.
didn't
So
know
you're.
what an interest rate was. They didn't know what the mortgage payment included. They didn't understand the process. So when it came to them not having money to pay that mortgage, they didn't know the consequences and how long and how bad it would be if they actually stopped paying that mortgage. So it was basically just because I wanted to be able to transpire everything in Spanish to my
Mhm.
market, which was the Latin community, the Hispanic
Yeah.
community.
They, there's a you saw a need, and especially with the language barrier, because a
Yes.
lot of thing you do in Spanish. So a lot of those.
I actually do everything in Spanish. Like if you go to my Instagram or my Facebook, all the reels, all the posts, everything is in Spanish. I really hardly ever post material in English because
Mhm.
there's already a lot of people doing that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I want to stick to, and actually one of the challenges I faced in the beginning was learning all the financial vocabulary in Spanish because
Spanish.
we don't use these words every day when we talk Spanish to our family or our
No.
friends. So it was fun learning and figuring out what word meant what. But it basically that's how Vesta was born. I mean, and I've had it for 5 years, and it just it's very heart filling, because I see how people progress and they're able
Mhm.
to save, keep to a budget, and get that house. And at the end of the day, like all the fighting, all the stress, once they get that key, goes away, and it's just like simultaneously, like
Yeah.
they feel fulfilled.
Was there one particular client that really, like, you know, filled your bucket? It was like you had to, maybe, I'm sure you jumped through hoops and for many of them, but was there one particular client that it was kind of like, wow, I made a difference?
Yes, so I have a client that I closed recently. Like I think I feel very fulfilled with every one of them, right? Because they've all struggled to be able to get the house. But this particular client had a sentimental part to the house. Um it was a couple, they had like three kids, and the wife had just lost her dad, and they lived all together as a family, right?
Hmm.
And the owner of the house was selling the house, so the owner was like, listen, you guys have been good tenants. I know how much you guys love this house because of the memories with your dad. Would you guys like to buy it? And they didn't have any money. They only had like $6,000 and month's rent to be able to buy the house, which was probably $10,000 in total. um and I had started working. It was actually one of the first loans I closed with a down payment assistance as a broker. And
Okay.
I was working with this new bank, and they were like, listen, we do 100% financing. So the clients will only have to come up with a certain percentage, blah blah blah. So I read about it, I studied the program, I told the clients about it. I told them, listen, this is the only program I have. If you guys qualify, we could do it. They submitted all the paperwork, and long story short, they were able to close on the house that they lived in with only their security deposit and $5,000 additionally. Like, their landlord took their security deposit as a
Deposit
down payment
as a down
and
payment.
$5,000 for the closing cost.
That
And
is
it was a
great.
family of five, right? It was the couple and three kids. So the lady afterwards did like this whole reel and was and called us, and she was like, "Listen, I know I because I never saw them in person, because this was South Jersey, so everything was over the phone. So I'm like, I would love to go to the closing, but you guys are like an hour and a half away. Like, I can't
Yes,
drive
that's
there,
the
drive
truth.
back." So she's like, listen, and so she did the reel, and she was like, you don't know how much it means to me to be able to live in the same house where, my dad passed away. Like, it was really something very psychologically that I psychological that I wanted, emotional that I wanted, and thank you so
You were
much.
able to give her that, right? You were
Yeah,
able to
and
help her
without
get
knowing
that.
her, and she was so grateful. A lot of clients, believe it or not, after they close, they forget about the person that gave you, like, this is not a very, it's rewarding, but people aren't as grateful as you would expect after getting into that house. Very rarely do they come back and say thank you, or some of them, you don't even ever refer a client, which is what we love the most. Don't give me
Yeah,
money, give me
yeah.
referrals.
Yeah, people, it's like you work with them and, well, that's why you ask for referrals right
Yeah.
away when they're excited and they just got their
Yeah,
house.
be
But
like, give
I'm
me three
sure,
names, please.
yes, you know, I'm sure they're forever grateful with you, and especially this family. It's beautiful that you're able to help our community, not only educate them, but get them into a house of their dreams, or a house that that they really been wanting to. And back to being a woman leader in your industry, and doing things differently. How would you define success as a woman business leader for you?
I mean, for me personally, it would be to be able to see future leaders coming up under me. Like, a lot of people have always told me that I am a leader. I've
You
never
are.
really seen myself as one. But last year, I did a lot of reflecting, and I do like to mentor and help people. So for me, success would be to see my undergrads come up and even surpass me, because I am not a greedy person. I teach
Mm-mm.
people everything I know, because I think that I want to build a legacy, right? I want to leave my legacy behind, and my legacy is going to be a troop of people that work like me, that
Yeah,
they
you
work with
want
heart.
others
Yeah, not just for the money. And I think that's what success would be for me,
to
having
bring
that
others.
army behind me.
But you are a leader. I mean, I've seen it. It's just you have a very humble heart and you work so hard. So you don't see it, but we see it. And we're
Thank
we're
you.
very grateful for that. And going back to that, that you want to see other women come
Come up.
forward and you kind of want to help them. Um, what advice would you give women entrepreneurs that are just starting their business journey in this industry or in another
No
industry?
matter what industry you work in, as a female entrepreneur, never quit. It's very hard. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be an entrepreneur. And cry, because sometimes that's what helps.
Yes, you cry. Yeah, sometimes there are tears
Yeah.
of enjoyment. Sometimes there's
I mean,
frustration.
there's different types of tears, but don't be afraid to reach out and don't quit. I mean, a lot of people tend to believe that they have to do everything on their own. It's like we were saying in the beginning. You think you got there by yourself. I didn't get here by myself.
No,
I had angels, you know. I had people that told me, "What are you doing? Why are you still processing loans?" Like my best friend was the one who pushed me to get my license. And when I got my license, she was like, "You see, how much money did you like stop making because you didn't want to take this course?" And she was right, because I ended up being really good at selling and structuring deals. And that same friend was the one who put me at the table with the people that offered me the opportunity to be a branch manager. And thanks to that table,
friend.
I was offered the opportunity to be a broker. So it's like, if it
Yeah,
wasn't because of her words of wisdom, I wouldn't have met the people that have brought me up to this level in 2, 3
yeah,
years.
yeah. She
So
believed in you. She saw
she
you were
believed in me.
capable. But I'm also, in a sense, I don't know if you've seen this meme with Snoop Dogg that is like, he's like, oh, you're thanking everybody, and then he's like, I want to thank myself, right? Because we're great. It's great that we're
Uh,
grateful for all the people that have helped us, that
yeah.
have opened doors for us, that have dropped our name in a table of
Hmm.
opportunities. But also, we need to be more thankful and gracious to ourselves.
Hmm.
You did it.
You know what it
You
is?
got the certification. You
Yeah.
studied. You made the commitment to do it, and then you know you climbed up
Yeah.
in your positions, and now you're here, right? But also give yourself
I mean,
that
because at the end of the day, you're the one who puts in all the work. So I've
yes,
been the one that sits and works and has worked hard and stuff like that. But again, I just feel that I'm more grateful to the people that helped me, right? And in some ways, some people see that as weakness. I mean, I don't think it is, but again, it's hard, right? Going back to your question, what would be un consejo? O sea, no se rindan, don't quit. Just keep going and
okay.
going and going, because once you get close to the top, you don't even have to be at the top, but once you get close, once you see that you're halfway, it's rewarding. It's going to start rewarding you, right? And that's what's going to give you the courage to keep going. So don't stop. Don't stop. And if you ever need financial advice, if you need advice on how to structure your business, if you need ideas how to promote it, how to come up with themes or with events or whatever, I mean, dude, nowadays you don't even need to talk to anybody thanks to artificial intelligence.
Yeah, they
So
can help you.
it's getting easier for the people in this generation to kind of do the work, right? So don't don't let your guard down and just keep going.
Yeah, don't let doubt stop you, and find those people that are going to push you, that are going to tell you, "Hey, why don't you get your license? Hey, why don't you do this?"
Mhm.
And they're going to come around, those people that believe in you. So I just want to thank those people that are here. If you guys have any questions for Carolina, let me know, put them down in there. I see we have Sandy, um, JR Izquierdo, hi babe. We have LG Marulanda, so thank you, Lore. Uh, Inter Integra Prime LLC, thank you for joining us. If you guys have any questions, let us know. And before, because we're getting ready to getting to the end, before we close, I just want you to let us know how we can connect with you, how the viewers can connect with you, and if you have any exciting, workshops or anything that is coming with Vesta Group, also let us know. And we are going to share all her contact information down below. Hi, Marty.
So you can reach me through IG at Caro underscore mortgage pro. You could also call the cell phone, which is 201-681-5007. You can reach us through WhatsApp at that phone too for any of the services that you may need. In Spanish, there's a saying that goes, pregunte por lo que no ve. We have allies, partners that work for purpose, with a purpose and with heart to help you succeed, right?
Mhm.
So whatever you think you might need, you could always just call. We don't charge per minute on the phone calls. And Vesta is a company, to that could help you get to where you want. I mean, and for mortgages, if you already think you're ready, you can hit up the same number and just say you want to schedule a consultation for your mortgage for your pre-approval. Rates are getting better.
Mhm.
They did withdraw a lot of the grants that were available for first-time homeowners due to some changes in FHA financing. I'm gonna be doing a live about that next week,
Okay.
Tuesday at 6
Okay.
p.m. So I'm gonna
Okay.
be sharing that information on my page and on the Vesta page as well.
Okay.
Um,
So make sure
there's
you're
a lot
following
of there's a
her.
yeah. Make sure you click follow. There's also a lot of uncertainty about what's going on with immigration, and that's shaking up a little bit the people who have homes but they have no legal status. I'm gonna be doing a live about that too because they are protected. Just because you don't have a green card does not mean that you cannot purchase or keep the rights of your property. So
Yeah, that's
stay tuned for
important.
the information on that live as well because that's going to be very interesting and eye-opening to a lot of people because
That is.
a lot of people are deciding to just head back to their countries and leave everything behind, and they don't need to really. I mean, they
No.
have the right to keep their properties and keep profiting from them while they're out of the country, and it's always better to
Yeah.
make dollars instead of your home money, whatever you make at
Yes.
home in your
So,
country.
A. Frank says that it's very inspiring. Thank you. You do have a question. Before we close, how much equity do you need to have in order to stop paying PMI?
You need to have 21% in equity in your property. So you have to
Okay.
have 80% or less of whatever your property's worth that you owe.
Hmm. And what is PMI for those of us that don't know what
So
PMI is?
PMI is private mortgage insurance,
Okay.
and that's something that you pay when you buy a house with less than 20% down.
Got it. See, I love this girl because she's all about education. She's starting is next Tuesday. Um, and all this with the FHA, right? Did I
And
say it right?
yeah, FHA.
And and it just keeps going. So if you want to learn, if you're getting ready for a house, do follow her. And she's licensed in New Jersey, yes, but she's also licensed in.
Florida, Texas, Pennsylvania, and I'm opening up Georgia and North Carolina again as a broker.
Okay, so if you're moving, if you're thinking of moving, and if you have property out there, she's your girl. Okay, and thank you, Caro, for joining me. I
Thank
love
you.
having you as a first time in this Paint to Inspire Women series. I'm going to be back. This is going to be bi-weekly, and my next one is going to be Wednesday, April 16th at 7 p.m. again. Um, if you are a boss babe or you know somebody and you would like to refer them, just DM me, get in contact with me, or connect me with somebody that in your community that you see that is making an impact. Because as a small business owner and women owned, I know how important it is to support each other. Because yes, we are solopreneurs, but really we need each other to
Yes.
get to higher positions. So gracias, Carolina.
Thank
Have a
you,
good night,
Laura.
everyone.
Igualmente.
Un
Bye.
abrazo.
Bye.
Adiós.